In my most recent playthrough of Cyberpunk, I opted to go for a very specific build. I wanted to be this Hulk-like, chromed out, guns blazing sort of style because it's not typically what I play, and I thought it would be a fun way to experience Cyberpunk. Now, this will be the build that we're discussing today. It's focused on being a shotgun-wielding, Hulk-smashing, unkillable machine. To some case, it's literally that you can be unkillable. The build itself is extremely Cyberware focused for the reasons of the armor and enhancements and damage dealt, damage reduction, healing, things like that. When setting yourself up for the build, the goal should be for Cyberware that improves health regeneration and or health items and abilities as well as melee damage. Because this build is focused on being quite explosive generally, I used grenades quite a bit, so enhancements to grenades damage and reload time is also something you can focus on. You're always going to want to be in the fight as much as possible. Now, going through a quick list of my recommended Cyberware, while not required, it's super helpful. I went with Neofiber because it increases your chance to mitigate damage, just kind of shaking it off, as well as how much will be mitigated. Then there's also things like Reflex Tuner, where when your health drops to a certain threshold, time is slowed down, which gives you more opportunity to get out of the line of fire and have a bit of reduced tension briefly so you can strategize your next move. Something that pairs very well with this is the Threat Evac Cyberware. What this does is it temporarily increases your movement speed when your health drops to a certain point. This again allows you to either A, strategize and kind of get out of the line of fire, or to take down the enemy who's causing you all this damage while time is being slowed down and you're moving quicker. In terms of speed, I would also add Adrenaline Converter. Now this increases your speed temporarily when you enter combat. This is useful because when you're entering combat, you may need to clear a good chunk of distance, specifically to take down some of the harder to kill enemies for this build, such as snipers or net runners, things like that, that have a better time of taking you down if there's a distance between you and them. Additionally, you'll want something like Fortified Ankles. This allows you to charge jump, notably increasing your jump's verticality. This is especially good to pair with your superhero smash ability, which we'll discuss a little bit later on. Now, looking at the build itself, there's really two avenues I can recommend for what I'm calling the game-changing Cyberware, otherwise known as operating systems, which would be either Berserk or Chrome compressors. Your decision for this allows you to opt between two variants for this build. We'll call them subtypes. For the Berserk-focused subtype, I will give a warning that for me, I did find it boring at times if you don't enjoy the sort of instant win feature for a lot of different combats. If this isn't a huge issue for you, Berserk is the best option for boxers as it allows you to temporarily go invulnerable to all damage, where you can take damage but you're actually unkillable for a set period of time. Once your Berserk ability is activated, you can only use your fists and cannot use items, but your melee damage and attack speed are dramatically improved while also restoring health for each enemy you kill. When looking at different Cyberware, I recommend focusing on those that decrease ability cooldowns while also increasing ability durations. These are going to be the most beneficial, allowing you to stay in that Berserk mode as often as possible for as long as possible, making you practically unkillable for good chunks of your fights. And while shotguns will also be something to lean on, your fists will do most of the talking inside of combat because of how potent they're going to be. The Chrome Suppressor option, however, is huge for allowing you to shake off damage headed in your direction, as, very simply, it gives you more capacity for your Cyberware, giving you more opportunity to increase your overall armor and additional abilities for the Cyberware. This subtype gives a more even distribution for your fists and shotguns, which can be fun for those of you looking for a more diverse playthrough. For this subtype, I highly recommend using the Microgenerator Cyberware as it increases your overall damage with shotguns. This is particularly useful for shotguns with small clips, as you will constantly be inflicting extra damage with your shotgun bullets. For attributes, I focused mostly on body until I reached level 20. After I finished that off, I went and shifted focus to my technical ability, again pushing that straight to level 20. This is because body will strongly improve your melee and shotgun damage, which allows you to just run and be a monster to deal with, while technical ability gives you more cyberware capacity and utility, allowing you to shake off damage headed in your direction. For the remainder of your attributes, I then focused it into cool because I opted to use sniper rifles and pistols to supplement my main outlets for damage. However, you're more than welcome to use this wherever you want. This is more of your flexibility post level 40. Now, my early game perks went directly to health regeneration and shotgun use. I didn't personally use the Army of One perk, as the other four seemed like plenty, as I was constantly regenerating health, especially when sprinting, and when I needed a quick boost, I would just take some medication, and boom, I'm back to full health. Now, this was until the point where I had Berserk Cyberware. I focused mostly on the shotgun side of the perk tree, as you are a bit vulnerable due to likely not having ample cyberware / armor yet, so the melee side was a little bit on the sidelines during that period of time. Once you have Berserk, or a solid amount of armor, I recommend opting into the middle section of the tree. The Adrenaline Rush acts as a sort of shield, giving you extra health in general, better health item regeneration, and additional temporary health once fully perked into it. It also allows for faster health item regeneration when Adrenaline mode is active, allowing you to heal quite often. Lastly, for the body tree, I began speccing into the melee-focused part of the tree, which made melee weapons much more useful. You'll also receive abilities that allow you to superhero smash into the ground, hitting an entire area of enemies, while also increasing the damage proportionate to how far the fall is, which is why having fortified ankles is useful, because the higher you jump and then smash into the ground, the more damage you're going to do. And then finally, you can even restore 15% of your health per enemy hit with this ground smash ability, allowing you to stay in the fight. For the technical tree, I focused my perks specifically for the middle of the tree, as this gives you more capacity for your cyberware. This also gives you more crafting materials from looting enemies. You can get additional stat modifiers when upgrading cyberware, even to the point of choosing between 3 different stat modifiers, allowing you to more specifically impact your gear. Now, you can opt into the Edge Runner ability, which allows you to exceed your capacity at the detriment of your total health. I personally didn't see a need once I switched to the Chrome Suppressor operating system, as I never really ran into my capacity. Lastly, I put a couple perks into the cool tree, making my pistols and snipers more useful in combat, which helps quite a bit since the biggest weakness for this build would be snipers and other high damaging targets that can often stand quite a ways away from you. For those of you who do try this build out, let me know what you think. I really hope it's useful and fun to play, because I definitely had a good time. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing. Stay safe, chooms.